Welcome to the chapter 267 leaks. Guys, we got another banger of a chapter and reveal. I gotta say, Gege Akatami is closing out the story in 5 chapters, and it seems like these last 5 chapters are gonna be spectacular. With that said, no more holding up the whole spoilers thing. Let's just get straight into the video. So the chapter begins with Yuta and Gojo having a discussion while they were doing their body swap training way back during the 1-month time skip. And Yuta asked Gojo to give him the final sukuna finger, the 20th finger that we all thought that he ate, but was apparently shown at the end of the last chapter. He says he wants this finger so he can make Rika eat it and copy Sukuna's curse technique, but Gojo denies this request. Mind you, Yuta and Gojo are like in each other's bodies here. Don't take this the wrong way. Yuta's possessing Gojo's body, Gojo's possessing Yuta's body. So Gojo goes on to say that even though the final Sukuna finger can fulfill Yuta's copy curse technique requirement, it's still not enough to analyze Shrine's curse technique information. Yuta agrees to it because even with curse speech, he still needed Inumaki's input on how to use the technique. Again, guys, keep note of Kenjaku's curse technique being unexplained. This technique, I'm telling you guys, there's going to be a twist with it, but let's move on. Gojo says that I don't think it's very smart to lose our connection with Sukuna, and Yuta questions this. He says it's a gamble. If I say it like Hakari, it's the fever. It's good to see Gojo actually reference Hakari. Like, I don't even think we've seen the two interact outside of promotional material, so this is a little nice extra thing. Yuta says that the requirement to copy a curse technique is to make Rika consume a part of the subject's body. The quantity and what part of the body part that needs to be consumed depends on the subject he's copying from and the number of times he'll use it. You can think of it as if I want to copy a strong curse technique, I need to take in a part of the Jujutsu sorcerer's body that is pretty fatal to them, or in other words, essential. But even if it's the fatal part of the body, I can fulfill the technique's requirement by using a binding vow to limit the use. So apparently Yuta's techniques have like limits on them depending on how he was able to copy them and what the technique is. It's kind of cool that we're finally getting this explanation at the end of the series. You know, copy was always left open-ended, and plus this adds a lot of information to why we haven't learned anything about Kenjaku's curse technique yet. It's still the only curse technique in the series that has not gotten an explanation. Yuta continues to speak, and I guess he's talking a lot in this chapter, but he says that when the subject regenerates the body part with reverse curse technique, which Rika ate, from that point on, the body part that Rika ate will become useless, and by proxy, he can no longer fulfill the copy curse technique's requirement. So what this basically says is that, for example, when Earl had her arm ate by Rika, if she had reverse curse technique, she would have been able to regenerate her arm and then get rid of Thin Icebreaker from Yuta because her arm would come back and the arm that's inside of Rika would become useless. This does kind of self-confirm that every character that Yuta has copied does not have reverse curse technique. And Yuta also adds that he was able to use Inumaki and Hana's arms because it was determined that he could no longer heal their arms anymore using reverse curse technique or modern science, so they were a lost cause. Yuta took a part of Charles' ribcage in order to copy precognition. Hakari assures that Charles will be able to be healed later on. So this explains how Yuta got that technique from Charles. This chapter is going to get rid of all your doubts and worries about Jujutsu Kaisen wrapping up with no answers, okay? I'm just letting you guys know this now. Gege is tackling every little detail from here on out. So Mei asks if Yuta is informed about YUJI and Sukuna's resonance from Todo. Yuta says that he does know about it, and that's why they're going to execute this plan right before they fight Sukuna, and they're only going to inform YUJI, the bare minimum when it comes to planning and just making sure YUJI follows the plans without knowing everything that's going on. Yuta then says to YUJI, even though you can't use it right now, your body is already engraved with Sukuna's curse technique. There is no doubt about that, since Gojo was able to confirm this with the 6 eyes. If you have a keen eye, you know what's about to happen. That's the twist of this chapter. But it's one of many. This chapter's packed. So we come back to the present. Sukuna notices that Yuji is missing one finger other than the one he tore off to transfer himself to Megumi. He then realizes that Yuta managed to bluff him. He realizes that Yuta used Yuji's finger to copy the Shrine Curse technique. Yuta made plays, guys. I'm telling y'all, Yuta is definitely in the consideration for the MVP of this Sukuna raid. Utahime and Gakuganji are also present. They are at the place where Sukuna's final finger is sealed, watching over it. Gakuganji then asks if Sukuna's finger, a special grade curse object that can withstand any physical or jujutsu processing, can be penetrated by that technique. Take a guess at the technique. Oh man, you guys are about to jump out of your chairs. Utahime says through a binding vow whereby removing the objective of destroying the curse technique and focusing solely on applying the technique's effect, maybe she can pull this question off. But Utahime is concerned since it's only been a short time since she woke up. You guys know who it is. Kujisaki says, "You're welcome, boy." Yup, Nobara has made her return to the manga, and she's wearing an eye patch like we all expected while holding a nail and her trademark hammer. She then uses resonance on Sukuna's final finger, and I'd love to show these panels, guys, but Shueisha's been on my tail. They've served me over 30 to 40 copyright strikes this year. I'm not playing with them no more. Anyways, Sukuna's body convulses as he's hit by Nobara's resonance. He realizes that it's her curse technique and begins to freak out. He states that this is that woman's. This is bad, my curse technique. I can no longer open my domain. At this rate, the kid's sure hit effect will. And then, you know, all the spikes just come out of his body from resonance. And it's a lot of damage being done to him by this one resonance. And Yuji is in tears as he realizes that Nobara is still alive. And we see Nobara addressing Yuji as she says, "How's that for a poppy, you idiot?" Miyamura's translations are always a bit off. I think what she says, judging from another translator's translation, is something like, "Let's run this back one more time," in reference to her and Yuji's attack on Mahito when she hit him with the resonance and he did the combo. And after this would happen, Yuji does not give Sukuna time to recover and instantly hits him with another soul dismantle. Remember, Sukuna was saying this is fatal and all that, so this was a heavy blow. And as the battle begins to wrap up, Yuji knees Sukuna right on his face and punches him hard, this making Sukuna puke. But Sukuna hasn't given up yet, as he punches back Yuji and Yuji really reels from the punch. Sukuna then takes this opportunity to get in one last speech. He says that, "Did you really think you could peel me off with their makeshift half-assed domain?" Sukuna thinks that Yuji has surpassed his limits for a while, as he's not even healing his injuries with reverse curse technique anymore. And since the domain expansion consumes a lot of curse energy, it's basically over for Yuji, and he just begins to pummel him. But Yuji takes some of the attacks, saying that, "I did not fight your ass for 45 chapters just to lose, my nigga." Nah, Yuji ain't say that. What really happened was Yuji throws a punch at Sukuna. Sukuna manages to dodge, but then another impact comes from that same punch. The divergent fist has finally come back into play, and it has hit Sukuna hard enough to push him off balance. This is when Yuji prepares one final strike. Yuji locks in, and with a straight face he says, "It's time to put an end to this ever-cycling curse, Sukuna." And he lands one final black flash. The editor's note states that this fight has finally come to an end, and the chapter concludes. Now, I cannot believe that Sukuna has finally been defeated. If you've been following the channel since damn near the beginning, I started this channel when the Sukuna raid began. So to see Sukuna be defeated is like a milestone to me, you know what I'm saying? I literally started this channel with the intention of covering the Sukuna raid. And, you know, I just can't believe it. With that said, this whole arc has been amazing. Cannot wait to read the entire thing front to back once this chapter comes out. What an amazing saga. And Sukuna's gonna go down in history. No matter how much y'all complain, Sukuna is a legend. He's legendary. I don't think we've gotten a 45 chapter gauntlet from a villain like this in a minute. And yeah, people gonna complain about Nobara coming back, like Sukuna ain't wiped 10 characters and do everything he did. People just like to complain about good things so they feel special. With that said, I'm gonna close out the video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.